The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, was created specifically to contribute to the building of peace, poverty eradication, lasting development and intercultural dialogue, and to achieve all of this through education. Without a doubt, education is the link to development, be it the Millennium Development Goals or the development of the mind, which has been described as a fire to be kindled. In Nigeria, how much of that fire has been kindled as the country strives to be counted among the developed countries? Because after all, it is the minds of Nigerians that will conceive and implement the development of Nigeria. Let's discuss education in Nigeria on this episode of Big Story. I'm Ini Thompson. Mr. Folusho Phillips, Chairman, Nigerian Economic Summit as at 2014, introducing the theme for the three-day summit, which was held between March 18th to 20th. And as planned, stakeholders from all sectors shared their thoughts on different aspects of the education system in Nigeria, from adherence to regulations by institutions to funding.
The spirit and ideals of universal autonomy as parties in other climes should be adhered to by all stakeholders. The target institutions should strengthen their capacity to be able to meet up with the conditionality laid down for assessing funds from TED Fund. In addition to strengthening their internal capacity for monitoring of projects, TED Fund should also explore the expansion of the use of qualified external consultants.
They also spoke on policy and plans of the federal government. A former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, was part of the discussion, and even then she had her fears about participating. Over a year and a half later, her fears resonate in the thoughts of a professor of African Studies in the University of Colorado in the United States, who was a guest on Channels Television during the summit. He says that the topic, transforming education through partnership for global competitiveness, was well thought out, but the implementation of ideas expressed at the summit has been minimal.
Oftentimes we tend to compartmentalize so much that we don't even see the importance of thinking about our educational system in relation to our economic development. But when we're talking about global competitiveness, of course, our focus should then be, or even we should be asking the question, what should our educational system look like? What would the curriculum look like? What kind of topics, what kind of subjects should our students be learning? If these are people who are going to be feeding the economy and making it globally competitive, do they need to be globally aware? Do they need to have global vision? Of course. So, but it must be global vision vis-a-vis our own local peculiarities. So, and that's what is happening here in the American system. The American educational system tends to train students and produce a crop of young minds who not only are aware of their environment, aware of the peculiarities of the American economy, politics, and all whatnot, but also are always being taught to think about that American peculiarities in relation to what is happening in the rest of the world. But like I was saying a moment ago, our educational system earlier on in the 60s was so much more about ideas and peculiarities of the West as opposed to peculiarities of Nigeria and African countries. And again, when I say that our education system has evolved, I'm trying to give credit also to the current system. I'm not trying to talk down on it entirely. There are new things that are happening, that are helping, and that is producing young minds that are very creative and innovative. But the system is kind of rigged against them, not because of the education. And like the education, our curriculum, our educational philosophy is well constructed, is well thought out, but its implementation and how it's been designed, how it's been implemented in order to help these young people develop the requisite skills they need to be competitive both locally and globally is almost, I would say, rigged against them.